They're made in Chelsea style. Louise Thompson spent years on the covers of plenty of health magazines.
But everything changed in 2021 when the birth of her beautiful baby boy, Leo, took a devastating turn.
Yeah, Louise suffered a traumatic labour that triggered a chain of catastrophic health problems, including almost losing her life twice.
As she bravely opens up about her experience in her best-selling book, Lucky, here it is, Louise is joining us now. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for
Lovely
having me.
to have you here on the sofa. As I was reading this, quite often within medicine and human beings, things go wrong. Obviously, we're just human beings and, you know, medical staff don't always get it right. But the catalogue of events that happened and the catalogue of things that went wrong to you, I don't know how you're sitting here describing it and how you write about it so eloquently.
Well, thank you. And I do feel very lucky to still be here.
Yeah.
Because there really was such a horrendous cascade of events, you know, taking it right back to the beginning. And as you say, I was one of the healthiest people I knew. I'd done the cover of Women's Health twice. It was my bread and butter, you know. I lived and breathed fitness. And I'd never really stepped foot into a hospital before. And then, yes, I gave birth to my son 3.5 years ago, and my world was literally turned upside down. I knew, you know, I think women know their bodies and we have this intuition. And I really knew that the childbirth thing wasn't going to be a walk in the park for me. I have a very small body, my partner's very big, and I did have some anxiety around that. And I kept trying to advocate for myself, to speak up, to say, I really want to have a planned C-section. I'd been involved in a nasty house fire before giving birth, about a month out. And I wasn't feeling well. Like, it's tough. Like, childbirth is incredibly tough as it is. And being pregnant is very tough for women. We go through a lot. And I just felt like I wasn't listened to, and I had to jump through a lot of hoops, and there wasn't a great, you know, level of continuity of care. And so I was just met with a lot of resistance. And then I kind of succumbed to my fate, and I ended up not being able to deliver my baby naturally, and I ended up in theatre. And I think one of the most horrendous things about this whole experience, which is what has left me with a lot of lasting damage that I talk a lot about in the book, with all of the PTSD and also suffering with, you know, horrendous anxiety that's sort of brought into that, and depression too, was having to witness 3.5 hours of surgery awake.
Yeah.
I just wish that I had been put to sleep.
Yeah.
Because sadly, you know, I've had to have subsequent emergency surgeries, and, you know, it was only a week after I was then discharged home following that surgery without much of an explanation as to what had happened. I mean, it's a lot to process.
Yes, yes.
And then I had a massive obstetric hemorrhage 2 days later.
Which was
when
the second one you'd actually had.
Yes. So in the original surgery, I lost 3.5 litres, and then in the second I lost 5.5 litres, which is a lot. I mean, I probably only have about 5 litres of blood in my body, given my weight. And it just, you know, it's crazy how long it can take to actually process all of it. But the book, for me, has been a big part of that. And there were times early on when I found myself, when I was finally discharged from hospital after spending a large chunk of time there, where I couldn't really function. I couldn't connect with my son, and I just didn't recognise my life. And writing for me was such a kind of cathartic process, and it was the only way I could communicate with people, really.
Yeah.
The interesting thing, hearing you talk about what you have been through, there's a sort of irony to the fact that the book's called Lucky. You know, because he sounds anything but lucky. And I love the story about why you've called it Lucky. And actually that you're starting to appreciate the value of where you are, and what that you have Leo now, and your life is still going, and what you've been through, that maybe you do feel a bit lucky finally.
I do. And, you know, I've spent a bunch of time in hospital, and there are definitely people that are much less lucky than me. And I do feel really privileged to have come out the other side. You know, I have my working brain again. I can think straight. I've got an amazing relationship with my son. And so there are loads of hopeful messages in the book. I kind of go through the whole thing of, I felt like I lost a lot of my old self, especially during those, like, first couple of years throughout the recovery. And I've gradually been piecing the jigsaw back together, making sense of everything. And now, you know, it was, yes, someone that I mentioned in the book, this guy, when we finally managed to get away on holiday. And this guy said, I sort of was just making almost a joke of like, everything that happened to me. And he was like, wow, you're really lucky. And if anyone had said that to me even 6 months prior, I would have been actually quite upset. I was like, gosh, it completely reframed it in my head. You know, I live in this country, you know, I live close to a hospital, and I've had access to some incredible care and met some incredible people along the way. And it's opened my eyes. You know, my perspective on life is very different now. Like, you know, it's not the way that you want to have to learn those lessons about life, but yeah.
But I guess you do very much start to seize the day and appreciate friends and appreciate family. And I know that Leo is just gorgeous, and I'm guessing how much you absolutely love him now that you've got the PTSD under control, because that was one of the biggest things. And what I found so sad about the book was you managed to cope with all the physical stuff, and then mentally that took over, and little Leo was this living, breathing incarnation of reminding you of these terrible things.
Exactly that. I mean, it was awful that he was re-traumatising me when I was at home and I was sort of in the same space as him, under the same roof. I just have memories now of... So a lot of it is a blur because your brain just tries to shut it out. But I have memories of just holding him and looking up, and as he was crying, and I would just look up at the sky, and honestly, I would just pray. And I'd go, take all of this pain away, like this mental and physical torture. But yeah, the mental stuff was a lot worse than, you know, physical... You can often fix a physical problem. You can diagnose a physical problem a lot more easily, but it was the mental torture that was really hard to grapple with because there's no... You can't go in and get treated.
You can't fix it.
You can't fix it. So, you know, there are medications, and I did an awful lot of therapy, and I was considering going to a mother and baby unit and going to other facilities, but I think that would have just prolonged the recovery, because if I'd stepped away from my son, I might have got better on my own, like in my own kind of cold dog pound cell, and then going back.
You've had great support from Ryan too, I think, as well.
I feel very, very grateful to have a partner.
Yeah.
We spoke to the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital because obviously you've been through this catalogue of things, and this is what they said: the health and well-being of those in our care is an absolute priority. It's right that we recognise when this care doesn't meet the standards that patients rightly expect, and we learn from it. Patient safety and the quality of care we provide are fundamental to our maternity service. Our thoughts and best wishes are with Louise and her family. We're committed to working with all our patients, and we'll continue to work with Louise on supporting her and providing appropriate resources and guidance. So one of the things that's hugely important, I'm sure, for you is being able to share your experience, share it with the hospital, and also in the hope that other mothers and parents won't go through what you've been through.
Absolutely. And, you know, after everything happened, they did do an investigation, and I did manage to have a birth debrief with them. It took me 2 years to be able to feel strong enough to do that. And we kind of spoke through some of the things that happened and where they could try to improve the care. And, you know, there are some amazing people that I have a relationship with, and I actually am still under their care because I have other problems with... I've suffered with an inflammatory bowel disease, so I have a close relationship with the gastroenterologists there. So I was there only last week, and the colorectal surgeons. And so it's sort of a stark reminder every time I go in, but also you have to have this, you know, this like blind faith in these people that are also only human as well. And I think the thing that I've learned as well is that it's not personal. That's the thing. It's not, you know, somebody... It's not me against anybody, you know? It's so trying to remove the emotion from it. I'm in a place now where I think, OK, how can I just get myself back to, I'm here, I'm at A. If I want to be at B, how do I get there?
Just do it collaboratively. One of the things you've been lucky enough is to have is a fantastic family around you, and your little brother. I know, as irritating as he can be, I'm sure, growing up, he has been a real... Look, there you go. He's been a bit of a rock for you through this, hasn't he, Louise?
He has, and actually I'm so lucky that we do live next door to each other because...
That's wicked.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, I'd love to live next door to
Well, you think that, but it grows old real quick for Louise.
Yeah, we barricaded the wall up in between so there's no hopping over the fence anymore.
Yeah, that as well.
And he's got a key. Actually, he breaks in through... Anyway.
I'm sure he does. How's your relationship changed, actually? Because there are so many great big events here that happen. I'm guessing the dynamic between the two of you has kind of changed as well a little bit.
Yeah, do you know what? I mean, Louise is... It's funny because I've just been over there doing the bunny ears to Louise when she's getting introduced, but And that's really the only way I know how to sort of like handle stuff when it gets to that level. And but it changed a lot, I think. You know, Louise is the bravest person I know, and to have that as my sister is nuts. You know, I've never met anyone braver. I think like no one will ever know the full stuff that Louise went through. And
That's true.
I think it was I sort of welled up and actually cried a little bit where Louise had these little things dangling down from the ceiling in her house and little extracts from the book. And she was like, "Can you read the passage about you?" And I was like, "Oh, OK, fine." And I read it, and she basically was like, "He's become my big brother."
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dynamic shifted, didn't it?
That was terrifying because oh no, but it's a weird thing when someone you love so much is in so much crisis and who you become in that moment and stuff. And Louise's partner Ryan is the absolute rock to everything. And I actually remember when you had the hemorrhage, I was at the ITV Palooza. And my mum called me and was like, "You need to get to the hospital now." And I actually snuck into the hospital, past all the guards and stuff, and just sat in a room with Ryan for like all night to find out whether Louise was going to survive. Like, it was nuts.
Well, because also, if you put yourself in that position, Ryan's there, he's got Louise on the operating table, he's got Leo somewhere else, and he's thinking that at some stage, and Leo wasn't very well when he was born either, so he's thinking he might go home from the hospital with nothing at all.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you handle that moment with him?
It's a weird one because you lock in.
Yeah.
You really, I've never been so focused in my life, actually, when it gets that bad, you really sort of like steer into a completely different phase of your being. I've never really had it before, and I hope to never have it again, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But you really lock in, you become laser focused. I wasn't that emotional, actually, to be fair. I was just literally just like so on it.
Yeah.
And I've never actually been like that before. And so Ryan was the exact same.
Essentially, Louise, he can be grown up if he has to.
Now I know.
Yeah, we don't want to be like that, but you know what, whenever...
But then he would come and visit me and you'd just lie on the window ledge and he'd go, "Oh, I'm so tired." And I'd be like, "Thanks, Sam."
Yeah, I'd go and moan.
Exactly, it hurts and make you laugh even at that point.
Do you know what? I did feel like there was a time where Louise obviously was going through, you know, a lot in the hospital bed. I feel like sometimes she needs the Joker in there. Yeah. So I'd literally just open the door, like, "Hello, clown suit zipped up," and I'd sort of try and make her laugh a little bit, which was... everyone had a different role, I think, but just to have Louise sat here now is
It's lovely.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we're the luckiest family in the world just to have Louise still here. I'm going to cry. Yeah, we're very incredibly lucky.
And it's smashing to see your relationship. And this book is, it's a tough read, and you actually even warn the reader at certain bits. This is what's coming up, and I'm about to be very honest. But it's a great read too. Well done.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for putting up with him.
Yeah.
I mean...
You had him a lot longer than we have.
You can't pick family, can you? That's the problem.
We get to send him home at the end of the day. And he can't get rid of it. You're next door.
Yeah, he seems pretty busy at the moment.
Great to see
Thank
you
you
both.
for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. And Heidi Marney joins us now alongside criminologist Professor David Wilson. When I watched that clip and when I watched the documentary, it was amazing, the different facets of this man's personality and almost like the armour that he built up. His character made him so deceptive. When did you first meet him?
So Rob and I share a family member, so although we aren't blood related, I saw him like an uncle.
Right.
So I'd known him for years.
And you always saw him as this good, kind man. He was kind of a pillar within his community.
Yeah.
Try and describe him to me, paint the picture.
Well, I personally saw him as the kindest man you could ever meet. You know, when I gave birth to my little girl, he sent flowers to the house. He helped all of the community, you know. He literally took flood victims into his house. You know,
he was a councillor?
Yeah, he was a town councillor. He was in the parish council. You know, everybody loved him for what he did in the community.
It's amazing watching it, Heidi, because he was so well liked, so well respected, so well loved. He was so much a part of the community. He wasn't quiet about what he was doing. He was quite vocal about who he was.
Yeah, very.
I mean, and enjoyed taking sort of the prestige and the reflected glory on lots of things that were going on. So how did your relationship become that you moved in with him? What was the step that led to that?
So I'd seen on Facebook that he was advertising for a lodger, so he just had a room available. And I'd had a relationship breakdown. I'm very impulsive, so I just one day said, right, I'm leaving, and said, Rob, is it OK if I move in? I didn't intend to live there. That wasn't the idea. I sort of hoped that my ex-partner would come rescue me, essentially.
Sure.
But that wasn't the case. So I found myself there very suddenly. I acted on emotion. And then I realised this is my reality now. So I'll have to make the most of it and get my head down and find a home and a safe space for me and my daughter.
But it was safe and it felt comfortable and you felt like the right fit for what you needed at the time. There was something slightly strange, wasn't there, when you got there? Because he ran a computer shop where he used to fix local people's computers.
Yeah, I worked there for him.
So you worked there for him. And his house, there was tons of computer equipment everywhere, wasn't there? So even though he presented this very polished exterior, there was something else going on at home. Yeah,
he was a hoarder. There was everything everywhere. There was actually one room that had a huge living room, bedroom, bathroom that you couldn't even access for the computer, like databases and things there. Yeah, it was crazy.
And that wasn't the only red flag that started to show up either, because he did have this real front of deception, this outside appearance of being kind of, you know, a pillar of the community. But there were other little red flags, either when he'd had a drink or he'd talk about hot tub parties.
Yeah.
What were the red flags for you?
Just for me, so my daughter was living there with me too, and he would say things to her. You know, she was only 1.5, and he'd say, I'm going to make it so good here that your mummy never wants to leave. And I think, you literally know that I'm saving for our house. Like, that's all I want. Why would you even say that? And then I was looking on Rightmove, and he was like, why are you looking at that? You can't even afford to leave, you know. And I'd think, why are you mad at me for looking at a house? That's all I want.
Yeah,
you know?
and you're just a lodger.
Yeah,
not in a relationship.
Lodger.
And there was that sense that he was projecting a relationship between the two of you to the outside world, that you weren't just his lodger, but there was something else going on, right?
Yeah, so it was very covert. So he would say things like, Heidi, would you like steak for tea? You know, if we was in a farm
public.
shop. Yeah, and I'd think, you're giving off this energy that we're a couple, but it wasn't, you know, obvious. So it wasn't like I could say, you're making me uncomfortable, because it was something he would say, I was just asking what was for tea.
But then there was a real moment where you'd gone out on a date and you'd walked down a road where you knew there was no chance of him driving past or knowing or whatever, and he knew where you were.
Yeah, so when I had mentioned about dating, because I'd had nearly a year off of it, he was very funny about it. So when I went on this date, I didn't tell him I was going where I was. And he texted me saying, weird, I swear I've just seen you in Leeds. And I thought, there's physically no way. I'd driven to an underground car park. There was no way he'd saw me. And so I immediately started to panic, like, you know where I am. How do you know where I am?
And then what did you find out? That he attached your phone to your computer?
Yeah, so because he owned a computer shop, I purchased a Mac second-hand, and he tracked me via my Mac. So it said, Heidi's MacBook tracked you, 2 minutes before he texted me.
So this starts escalating now. You realise there's something sort of seriously going wrong here.
Yeah.
So how did you move things forward from there, Heidi? How did you approach him about talking about this, and how did you discover the surveillance equipment as well?
So I basically confronted him about it. He said, I was in Leeds, and I said, well, you own a computer shop, can you tell me how my MacBook tracked me then? He basically denied it. I have a family member who works in the police. She said, he's acting like a jealous boyfriend. I see this in my job all the time. I want you to check for cameras. And so that's what I did, and that's what I found.
And you found cameras. What's that moment like, Heidi, when you realise there's cameras that were specifically designed not to show the red light, so you can't see them, and they've been recording everything? This was in the bathroom, in the bedroom?
It wasn't in the bedroom, no. It was just in the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
There was one in his bedroom now. But I froze, if I'm honest, because in that moment I thought, what happens now? Like, you are the town council. Everybody loves and adores you. I love you and adore you. Like, there must be an explanation for this. How can I accuse you of this? So I went full protection mode of him in that moment. Like, I can't call the police. So somebody did on my behalf.
Yeah. They seized all the evidence, they took him. Then he did a runner to Cape Verde.
Yeah.
He went off there too, but in the end he came back and he was convicted for 6 years.
6 years.
And for doing this to other women too.
Yeah, it was nearly 20 years, probably more, but evidence-wise, nearly 20 years, and there was 66 counts.
31 charges of voyeurism, 7 of computer misuse, 6 years and 2 months. It's an extraordinary thing, and thanks to your bravery and courage, and also waiving your right to anonymity, that this documentary has gone ahead, because there could be more victims out there. David, I mean, voyeurism, can you just explain a little bit about what the implication of voyeurism is and what it means?
Sure, but first, you know, you are incredibly brave, and thank heavens that you did on behalf of all the other women who were suffering from what was happening. Voyeurism is a paraphilia, a fetish which is criminalised by the 2003 Sex Offences Act and the 2019 Voyeurism Act, which, of course, was introduced to prevent upskirting using mobile phones.
Right.
And effectively, this is when a man, it is usually a man that's a voyeur, as opposed to a woman. It's usually a woman who is the victim of a voyeur. And so this is when a man watches or records a woman who hasn't given her permission to be seen in an act which is essentially private. So when you're in your bedroom, when you're in the bathroom, when you're defecating. And so often the voyeur will pleasure himself in the act of watching, and sometimes records so that he can watch the recordings later at his leisure.
And quite often this is a kind of gateway offence almost, isn't it?
So we're really worried. So criminologists, psychologists are really worried that there could be a gateway between what would be seen as a non-contact offence, they're watching, and then making a contact offence. They're actually touching, raping, harming. And of course, we have some high-profile victims, Libby Squire, Sarah Everard. Their murderers engaged in non-contact offending. In their case, it was indecent exposure, but then they go on to murder. Some voyeurs, though, are not interested in actually having a physical contact with the victims that they are spying upon, because that would bring with it complications.
Right.
You know, they would have to... What they're really getting off on, if I can use that phrase, is the idea of having power and control and manipulation. They know something about you that you don't know. So often that's really what's driving their behaviour.
I think the thing, Heidi, that struck me as well, because you have been incredibly brave to come out and do this documentary, but watching you talk about the emotional turmoil you went through when you realised what you were accusing him of. You were really worried about him. He had managed to control you in such a way that you had this amazing bond with him, that you felt like you had to protect him even though he was doing all these extraordinary things.
Yeah, I felt like I was ruining his life.
You were being groomed, Heidi.
Yes, 100%. I didn't realise that until afterwards, because over time it was like these little mini red flags, and I used to say, something's wrong, I don't know what's wrong, but it wasn't enough. How could I explain it? You know, little comments that you would say, people would think that I was nuts. So.
And David, the level of deception as well involved in this, it feels almost premeditated.
It was.
That he created this character.
Oh, yeah. You summed them up perfectly when you were posing questions to Heidi about, you know, this facade of being somebody in the community that can be trusted. Remember, our most prolific ever serial killer was a trusted local GP. You know, people who are going to offend are very good at creating a facade whereby they appear as if they're non-offenders. And you know, all credit to Heidi, because one of the things that we've never been able to establish is how widespread this crime might be. Heidi had to fight to actually get her case treated seriously. So how many other women out there might be subject to this kind of behaviour?
So there's a saying that says, act in such a way so if anybody spoke bad of you, nobody would believe it. And I feel like that's what he did, because nobody believed me. Literally nobody. And he had an army of supporters. Even though I had physical evidence of what he did, he was still lying about it, you know, making it awful about me.
It was extraordinary. Watching the documentary is fascinating, because when you hear the fellow councillor talking about the fact that these things were happening and he still came to council meetings and led council meetings, just completely shameless.
Fronted it out.
How are you now, by the way? I mean, we're thrilled that you could come in and would talk about this. And you've done
bring
this
your
incredible
baby
documentary.
Yeah, I'm really well now. I just used it as a deep dive on therapy for myself. I quit alcohol, I've not drank in 3 years, and I've just literally worked on myself now. So I'm actually in a really good place, and I think that that's a message I'd like to get across. Like, you don't have to be a victim forever. You can use it as pain as power, really.
Yeah. We spoke to West Yorkshire Police. This is what they said. We'd like to thank the victims and survivors in supporting what became a significant and long-running investigation to unravel Holden's offending. At the time of the initial response, the scale of the investigation was not known. It wouldn't have been appropriate to speculate on who or may not have been a potential victim until the data had been reviewed and those individuals were identified. But thanks to your doggedness and relentless pursuing of that, a lot of those victims have got some justice as well. So, you know, you have a lot to be very proud of.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in. David, great to see you as ever.
Nice seeing you back.
You can hear more about this extraordinary story in the new documentary Peeping Tom, the Landlord and His Secret Cameras, which is available to stream right now on 5. Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. Then, being told that you've got a big mouth isn't necessarily always a compliment, is it?
No, not necessarily.
Unless it's the title you've always dreamed of.
Well, for Marie Pearl Zelma Robinson, the moment she'd been waiting for finally came this year when she was crowned with the Guinness World Record for the world's largest mouth gape for a female.
Look at that, that's 5
That's
Jenga bricks.
a mouth gape.
A mouth gape.
That's a technical term.
It's a decent-sized hole, isn't it? It doesn't only look impressive, but she can fit all sorts of things in there, which we're going to try and put to the test in a moment. Marie joins us live from her home in Alaska. Marie, thank you so much for staying up to talk to us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Firstly,
very early for me.
Very early for you, yeah, very early. Firstly, congratulations on becoming a Guinness World Record holder. It is quite something. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came to be named as having the biggest female mouth gape? How did you realise that this was a skill that you had that could necessarily be a world-breaking skill?
It's one of those things where you've always had it and you never knew you had it. So as a kid, I used to, put things in my mouth all the time because I had lots of siblings, 3 older brothers, 3 younger sisters. You do a lot of crazy stuff. And then I just kind of forgot about it. And then I used it once to impress a guy. We'd played some perfect Jenga games. So I stacked some Jenga blocks and said, see how much I can fit in. And then I forgot for like 20-ish years. And I keep track of the Guinness World Records. And all of a sudden, I knew that the guy had a record. I always was impressed by it. I was like, oh, I can never beat that guy. But then they came up with one for a girl. And she was actually going for a width. And they just happened to measure her height as well. And then I was like, I think I can beat that height. And so, sorry, mosquitoes, Alaska. So I got a measuring device and I tested it with a $1 bill because that's 2.5 inches high, which was her record. And then I went on to, go to my dentist and they measured it. And then the process went on from there until I could prove it and got myself a Guinness record.
So this is essentially your mouth gape here. It's the height
If
that
that's
you can...
3 inches.
Yeah. We measured it very, very carefully to make sure it does, Marie, match exactly the gape that you possess.
Yes, then that would be accurate. That looks about right.
So you can put all sorts of things into your mouth to prove this, can't you?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think we've got some footage of you with a 8-stack beef burger.
I think I went up to 10, actually.
In that 10,
particular,
10?
Yes, 10. I had 12, but I called it at 10 because I was squishing the bun a little too much.
Ow, have you ever hurt yourself doing this? Or is there any foods that you can't eat because your jaw is so wide?
No, actually. It doesn't hurt at all. I've never had any issues. Like, I've never had my jaw tighten up. I've never dislocated it or anything. I haven't really thought about not being able to eat particular foods because it's never come up as an issue. The biggest issue I have is actually closing my mouth because my teeth don't come together. So pizza and, biting through sandwiches is sometimes kind of hard.
Ah, OK.
I think I'm right in saying, Marie, that you've got a few items there so you can show us live the world's biggest mouth gape in action. What are you gonna show us first?
Well, you got some stuff on the table there. Is
Yeah.
there anything in particular you would like to see?
Well, shall we start small?
Yeah, let's start.
Shall we go from small to large?
Big, yeah, okay. So the smallest thing I think we've got is a small satsuma in orange.
Mandarin orange.
Okay, so this is. So we should point out as well. Our lawyers have asked us to explain to everybody at home. Please don't try this at home.
But our producer said if you could just stick one of those in your mouth, quick, sharp. That's what they said.
Most
to
people
us.
can try to bite it sideways. That's not a problem for most people.
Yeah.
But turning it
Oh my God!
wide,
I just
turning it top to bottom too.
I couldn't find you more attractive. Okay, so we're not too bad. Oh, you've got it all. Yours has disappeared. I don't know if you've got reverse vision there, Marie, because Kat also. Yours has got. Careful, careful,
see?
don't choke. So that's good.
That's
okay.
a common one.
Let's go. So that's a common one. So then we're going to
That
move.
was quite
We're going to
nice.
move on to the apple.
I don't have an apple. I have a kiwi.
Oh, kiwi. Okay, go kiwi then. Go kiwi. What you have a go with your apple.
Sure. Do you
She's a lady. She's a lady. Talking about that little.
misspent
I
you?
said it before. She's not as expensive as she looks.
Everybody wants to try the fruit. It's a common first attempt. Safe.
Safe, very safe. Right. Okay. So what else have you? Have you got a baseball there? I think.
Yes, I do.
You've
A little
got
bit
baseball,
harder now.
right, so-
Baseball
Yeah.
measures closer to 3 inches.
These are getting close to your
I can't
world
do that,
record.
I don't
Have you? Right. Let's see if before you do it, Marie Cat, see if you can get it in because I. Don't hurt your teeth. No. That's not going in.
No.
I think we've hit your limit. Just under 3 inches. Right then, Marie,
I almost got my buns off.
will you show us yours?
Okay, so the goal is to try to get your teeth to the top and the bottom across the diameter.
Oh, she struggles.
Oh, it's there though. It's there. That's there.
It's not the best because once you get to that angle, it starts hitting your back teeth.
Of course, yeah. It
You
gets
see,
that. Yes,
you
yes,
see,
yes,
that's
yes,
the problem.
yeah,
It
yeah.
starts.
You've got we've seen you on with a clip of you putting your can of beans. Can you get that can of
No,
beans?
never.
No, that's too big.
No.
This
No.
is actually beyond the previous world record holder. She couldn't quite do this measurement here. This is, well,
I'm quite close though.
So yeah,
She
you did come
couldn't- she
quite
couldn't-
close. Yeah. So that's how you knew you could break the world record, is it, Marie? Because you realised that the current the previous world record holder couldn't quite get round a can of beans.
But you can.
yeah, this is 7.23 centimeters across the can of beans here.
Okay.
So this would have been beyond her abilities.
But not beyond yours. Can you give us a quick demo?
This is a tricky one. It's right at my limits.
Oh yes. Yes.
I can sort of chomp on it a tiny bit.
A little bit. Do you do sort of exercises to try and increase the gap, Marie? Is there things that you try and practice to make it bigger?
Mostly just yawning when I drive around because I have a courier business. I tend to practice stretching my mouth and, just while I'm out and about. It's mostly about when you're opening your mouth, making sure your tongue isn't being pulled back.
Okay, so keep your tongue forward.
Positioning and holding it steady. That's the hardest part, is holding it steady.
Yeah, that's the most intense. Now, we've got some biscuits here that are very sort of native to the UK, I think, Wagon Wheels. I don't know if you have Wagon Wheels in America. Have you seen these chocolate biscuits?
It kind of looks like a moon pie.
Yes, a little bit like that.
moon pie.
A little bit like that,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah,
know moon pie.
yeah.
Well, famously, Kat Deely here, the ever beautiful and talented young lady that she is,
Graceful,
put
delicate
3 of these
little
in your
flower.
mouth a few years back.
Look how little I am there.
In the presence of Jerry Springer, who, look, I mean, that's there.
I mean, it's not bad, is it? I'm not a professional.
I mean, there's not many things that can shock Jerry Springer, but your abilities with
Bring
the Wagon
on the
Wheels.
horse.
Right, are we going to try and recreate this? Marie, we're going to try and see if we can get Kat to recreate,
Let's see.
in your honour, Marie, to see if she can get these 3 wagon wheels in her mouth. It's a few years since you did this.
OK.
You'd have your little
I'm
Geordie
really
friends with you.
hoping that these haven't got bigger over time.
I think shrinkflation, they've got smaller. You'll be fine.
OK, here we go,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Is there a drum roll on this?
And that's why they pay me the big bucks.
Oh, Marie, look what you've inspired over this side of the pond. Do you think Kat's
I'm
got...
impressed,
Do
I
you
think,
think, do you
Mose.
think Kat's got some form? She could get there one day. She could match your mouth gape.
With a bit of practice, But you just
Excellent.
really have to hold that open really hard.
Marie, do people spot you in the street and ask for pictures and stuff now that you're a Guinness World Record holder?
Generally, it's mostly just congratulations because I'm already known about town. I live in, small island in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. So, everybody already knows me to begin with for the most part. But it has made people a lot more comfortable when when they see me passing by on the street, that there's an automatic familiarity with somebody who, you know something about me. Ha ha. I have had the first time someone celebrity sighted me was a really tall guy, and he was just walking. He looked over me as I was getting out of my car to go into the grocery store. He's looking over a car. He's like, "Hey, you!" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I know you. Didn't you get a Guinness record?" And I was like, "Oh, yes, I did." He's like, "Welcome to celebrity status in Ketchikan." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Very
Thank you.
sweet.
Well, he turned out to be a radio host, so I did go on his show after that. So that was
Amazing.
nice.
Very cool. Well, thank you for joining us this morning, Marie. Thank you. It's also reminded me just how good wagon wheels are. They're delicious.
You've left me with some very powerful memories, Maria, so I can't thank you enough for that. It's lovely to meet you. Congratulations on your record.
Thank you. It's nice to be on your show.
Lovely
Thank
to see you.
you.
Wow, Kat Deely.
Yeah, these are delicious, though.
Just
It hasn't put me off.
one at a time.
One at a time.
One at
with
a time
cup
would
of
be
tea.
our advice.
Thank you
Right
for
then,
visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. Hello, how are you?
Lovely to see
Nice
you.
to see you.
Sit down, sit down. We very surreptitiously stuck a mic onto your shoulders.
yeah.
I'm not sure we've ever necessarily had to do an interview like this.
Is this a first?
I think it might
think
be.
it
Oh, this is so amazing because my messages are... I'm so passionate about what I do and I've worked so hard to get these messages out there. So thank you, because this is just going to empower so many women out there.
Because this is actually what you wanted to do.
Oh
you
my
wanted
gosh.
to get this conversation started and do the interview exactly as you are.
Yes, because this is what I'm about.
Yes.
It's about being your authentic self and owning your scars. The beauty in these scars, they saved my life. Why would I want to hide them? Why?
Yeah.
You're incredibly passionate about it. You've got this verve for life. I was saying to Kat earlier, you've got you've got sparkling eyes full of joy.
Yeah.
So they've got the London Marathon coming up.
Yeah.
How is it running topless in the London Marathon? It's a full-on physical challenge.
Done it
Yes.
before, look.
But what's the reaction that you get from people when they suddenly realise that you're running topless?
Oh, it's so mixed. Empowerment, tears of joy. There were women crying in the whole joy and empowerment. It was just phenomenal. The people last year were just mad. It was like magic. And they were cheering and there was no pity there, nothing. Because you can't pity someone running a marathon, can you?
No. Well, isn't that one of the reasons why you wanted to do it as well?
Yeah.
That very reason that you just said was so often when people are diagnosed, when it's that moment where you have to tell your friends or your family, and everybody feels so sad and upset. And it's about taking that power back a little bit, I think.
Totally about that.
Yeah.
And that's what I do it for. So when I was diagnosed in 2022, when I was diagnosed originally, before you tell anybody, it's like a shock. But as soon as you tell people, you're taking them on this real dark journey. You feel guilty taking your family with you. You've caused this, in effect. You feel like that. And then everybody looks at you different. They tilt their head. And it's coming from a lovely place. but you just feel like you're pitied, and I hated that pity.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be pitied. You're losing your femininity, I lost my breasts. Oh, it was just... That's the worst part for me. So I thought, let's turn that around. Let's turn that narrative around and let's show us the strength, the power, the resilience, the discipline, the determination of a marathon runner with the scars on shore. And then you're kind of challenging and arguing the perception of the pity.
Yes, yeah. It's so interesting her saying that, actually, because we've got Trisha on later as well, and she says exactly the same thing. It's like, you can't be afraid of living life.
No, you can't. And that's what I wanted to show. So originally, I couldn't see me.
No.
I couldn't see this. I could see it in pictures, and there's lots of brave women before me showing mastectomies, but I couldn't see anyone living a life, having fun, becoming and evolving something else. So I never look back at how I was with breasts, because now I run marathons, I do other things. I've evolved into something better without them.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the acceptance comes from, because you're never going to look back if you've become something bigger and you've evolved, because now I never ran marathons when I had boobs.
That's interesting.
So now I can say, well, I'm a marathon runner and I haven't got boobs. So that's something that's where the acceptance comes from, and that's what I try to empower in women and men, is if you become something better.
So, and originally, when you had the mastectomy, you chose to have a double mastectomy, and your surgeon did suggest having a reconstruction as well. So it was considered at some point that you could have a reconstruction of some sort.
Oh, yes. And it's not pushed, but it's the kind of, in the research, the negative impact of not having breasts in society will affect a woman. And that's the research. That's not the surgeon saying it's come from research. And I sat in the surgeon's office and I thought, where is that coming from? Is that coming from a stigma? Is that coming from society? Where is that coming from? And I realised that it was kind of like looking at two different people. So this is how I was when I was diagnosed, and I felt the pity. I wanted to hide. I couldn't get used to this body because it was devastating. You're grieving the loss of a person. You're grieving. It took 6 months of just emotions up and down. And I thought, this is where you feel the pity, because the pity is kind of coming from you. And now I'm this, and I've become this, and I've evolved. There's no pity there. And then that sort of sparks out into the surroundings, and the stigma starts to go away. So it kind of comes from you initially. And I just wanted to let's change perceptions of mastectomy scars. Let's change that.
And can we talk about your diagnosis as well?
Yeah.
Because you almost didn't... you got wrongly diagnosed, and then they finally found it when you persisted and went back for another check.
Yeah, that was a real shock, because I'd struggled with health anxiety most of my life.
Right.
Whereas the irony of that is literally like you constantly feel like there's something wrong with you, you might have some disease, and you haven't. It's just the way your mind works. And that's why I started running, because the running tricked my mind into saying, well, there can't be anything wrong with you, Louise, because you're running. No. And it's kind of like tricking yourself. So I was like doing all these runs, and then I was like, well, if I can keep running and just doing that, then that's great. And that's when I started training for the virtual London Marathon. But the health anxiety was a little bit there. So I went and I got a private mammogram just to make sure I was all right. No symptoms, nothing. And because obviously you don't get called up on the NHS till a certain age. And I went for the mammogram and it was clear.
Which is the news you want to hear as well.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to go, oh, great.
Yeah.
This is great. This is what I want to hear.
It was clear, and I was like, right, OK, I've got this confidence now. What I'm going to do now is have this really good self-check in the shower, because I did self-check, but I think I just had that confidence to go a little bit further in and really check, because you're always a bit worried that you're going to find something. Yep. So I literally had a delve, and there was a tiny little bit of a thickening on the left side here, where you can see, like, the dent. And I wasn't worried, but I went to the doctors, and she wasn't worried. Yeah. But because she wanted me to have peace of mind, she sent me to the breast clinic. They did an ultrasound and found 5 abnormal areas.
I mean, you were very lucky as well to catch it.
Yeah, and there was 5 centimetres. 5 centimetres of lobular breast cancer. Now, lobular is in the lobules, what produce the milk, and it doesn't have the protein that sticks it together and forms the mass,
Right.
which is what's seen on the mammogram.
So it's not more of a tumour, it's more of a kind of a web.
Yeah, like
Right.
a web, and that's why it grows quite in and out of the breast tissue and is not seen. It wasn't even seen properly on the MRI scan.
So thank goodness you persisted.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be here, potentially.
Yeah.
How have your family reacted, though, Louise? Because it's one thing for you to be super empowered and come in and we can see the energy and the life that you have.
Brilliant.
But it is still quite disarming to see somebody sitting topless on our sofa and interviewing you as courageous and as brave as you are.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that's the thing. It's not a shock tactic, but it is. It's not something you see, is it? It's not something
really
you see. My family are very supportive. They kind of know that I kind of think outside the box. I have most of my life. I just kind of go around things a little bit differently to other people, so they're not really shocked. But yeah, and I do think that's what I like to spark. I like to spark the discussion, even if it's negative, because to me that's valid.
Yes.
Because people's perceptions are different, and you've got to get it out there to get discussed. I mean, even comments I get on my social media, it's usually the one about the testicles, and that's, well, if I'd have testicular cancer, should I run around now without pants? Well, how does that work? Because there's still bits dangling around, and it's not genitalia, is it?
No.
And that's the thing. Another thing it brings up is, what are breasts? They're not genitals. They're not sexual. They've been sexualised. And that's where we're talking. Men run around topless. I have no breasts. There's no nipples. What are you asking me to cover up?
Do you get a bit of criticism then at times, Louise, from people about the fact that you're running topless?
Yes, because it's quite shocking, isn't it? And that's what I wanted to show. And the thing is, a lot of people say as well, you're going to traumatise children. My children, my 5-year-old wanted to see my scars. She wanted to see them. She was curious. Child's imagination will run wild unless if you hide.
They hate the unknown.
And that's when they start making things up in their head. So when she actually saw them, she was like, oh, they're all right. They're not as bad as I thought. And that was it.
That's it, and you're done.
And they're gone, and they're off. And that's it. That's all it is. They're just scars.
Well, I think you're groundbreaking, Louise, what you've done.
And you're here today because of them
and we're
as
very
well.
proud to have you on the sofa with
thank
us.
you.
Very excited for the marathon.
Yeah.
Good
Have
luck.
you got a time in mind?
Well, I want to do 4.5 hours, but
4.5.
we'll see what happens on the day. Because
it's going to be emotional.
You know marathons, and it's never what you plan.
It isn't what you plan. But if you're going to be on the London Marathon route, do look out for Louise and give her a big cheer.
I think we're going down to the end, actually. We're going to go and see Joel, so I'll shout for you.
Yeah, definitely shout. Oh,
Good
I
luck.
can't wait.
I'll give you
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. Now, on Monday's show, we discussed the news that the boss of the Royal Ballet wants more plus-size ballerinas on stage and prompted a huge response from you.
Yeah, our viewer Lynn said that while she was overweight, she doesn't want to see plus-size dancers on stage. And Avril said male dancers won't be able to lift bigger women.
Lots of you disagreed, including proud size 16 ballet dancer Trixie Kicks, who joins us now. Hello, you.
Hello. So good to see you.
Thanks for coming in.
How do you feel when you hear those sort of comments?
It's infuriating. Annoying, not surprising, but incredibly infuriating. Yeah.
Is it ill-informed, do you think? Is that why it's infuriating?
Part of it is, yeah, definitely. And not knowing actually the culture that comes from those kind of comments and those kind of traditions and opinions and how damaging that is, like how long-lasting it is for ballerinas and dancers who have to hear that and then implement it if they want a career.
Yeah. Let's go back to you. When did you first fall in love with ballet?
At 2 years old.
2?
It's like my nursery had a nursery on the ground floor and a studio on the top floor, so I did ballet from 2. And the videos,
baby Trixie!
The videos of me doing it at 2 years old, I'm taking it incredibly seriously, and you can just see I fell in love with it.
So it's been your life ever since?
Yeah, danced ever since, and then went into full-time training at 16, and then loved it even more once I was doing it full-time. Yeah.
So when did you feel that you didn't kind of fit in the ballet world?
I think probably for most girls, it's when you hit puberty and things are going up and out and you're in the pink tights, the leotards, in front of a big mirror for hours in the day. And if you're not fitting that mould you've seen of ballerinas and dancers over the years, of that incredibly thin physique, you're noticing you're not fitting that mould. And then when I was auditioning for dance colleges, because I moved into more sort of dance and musical theatre, but still doing ballet. And when I was auditioning for dance colleges, I was getting comments like, fantastic audition, what a great day. You're a beautiful dancer, but you know you've got a huge weight problem. And I was about a size 12 back then. And you know you've got a huge weight problem, but you know that, don't you? And your thighs are too overdeveloped. And I didn't really, I had to nod along, like...
It would be those words, would it?
Yeah, like... It was mad, like, and that was just in the audition process, let alone going to those kind of colleges. And we know that was like dance and musical theatre colleges, and we know it's so much worse in ballet schools. We've heard the personal accounts and stuff. And we know that old-fashioned teachers still use sticks and stuff, and they're poking and prodding at things and telling you to suck this in and that shouldn't be there, and I can see your dinner. Like, comments like that are so outdated and so damaging. We know it's so damaging for ballerinas and all dancers, for their mental health, their physical health, for the rest of their lives sometimes.
Well, it's body shaming, really, isn't it? It's blatant body
shaming. To a
shaming.
really high level.
But in the ballet world, the average ballet dancer is what, size 4
Teeny
to
tiny.
8?
Yeah.
They're very, very small. I mean, you are the average size
very
woman.
Average, 16
normal.
to 18. Very average.
Normal size. Did it ever have a massive effect on your self-confidence?
I definitely saw it and felt it, but I was quite stubborn, and I've raised to be quite stubborn and to get what I want. And I wanted to be a dancer, and I was never going to be a professional ballerina, but I loved ballet, and it is a really strong core of dance, whatever style of dance you want to do. So my stubbornness I just ignored it, and I wanted to push through it, and I wanted to be the change. Like, it sounds very cliche, but you have to be the change, and there has to be that physical representation.
If you don't see it, you can't be it.
On stage, on social media nowadays is such a massive thing. So I pushed through, and I didn't go to those colleges that made those comments. I went to different colleges, and then I ended up going into the world of burlesque, which is all about female empowerment, all about body diversity, and I just got even more passionate about it through years of performing that.
But on the other end of the scale, these poor girls are under huge pressure. You're kind of getting that, not criticism necessarily, but you're getting the feedback on one end of the scale. Like, and then you've got these other girls who are small, who are like, I didn't even, size 4 is like so tiny, right? And the pressure, reading in my notes, she said it's coffee, it's cigarettes, it's literally just keep that size.
And part of that is the selection process, I think, into ballet school. Like, those who maybe have that natural frame are going to be selected into ballet school. So it's partly that selection process, and then on top of that, all of that conditioning and pressure from teachers, from directors in schools. So I really hope this announcement is going to actually be implemented into the
Yeah, what do you make of it? Because obviously the head of the Royal Ballet, Ian McKay, says he'd like to see more plus-size ballerinas represented on stage. What are the tangible steps to make that happen, to change that culture?
Makes, an actual difference in the schools, the way teachers teach, the way they speak to the students, the language they use and what they focus on, whether it is the physique or whether it is actually technique and artistry. And actually, what you weigh has no effect on your technique and artistry as a performer.
You've still got to be good.
You've still got to be a fantastic dancer.
No one's going, open the doors to everyone,
athletic, to be a ballet dancer. But there doesn't need to be that focus on thinness. There doesn't need to be focus on that really traditional but outdated aesthetic. So I hope we see the difference from people saying, the people that are actually in the ballet schools, and then see the difference on stage, where we do actually eventually see a more wider diversity of bodies.
And surely when you hear people say, well, they can't lift the dancers, surely they need to get stronger, the men then?
They do, yeah. I've got some mates who can help them down the gym if they like.
But is there a certain point with men where they would get too muscly to be ballerina? Like, as in, I mean, I don't know, like, would they be too body...
Yeah, but I think...
But that's OK, we can embrace
those kind of roles, they're so limited. Only a couple of dancers in natural company will actually show you get lifted. The rest of the corps de ballet don't get lifted most of the time, so...
And isn't it to do with your own core as well? You've got to have a really strong core.
So strong. So I used to do cheerleading as well, and to be lifted, you have to be so strong. It's to lift someone who is weak, it feels really heavy. They feel like a dead weight.
Yeah.
So you have to be so strong to be lifted, and you have to be fueled to have that energy.
And you're teaching ballet now. How do you make people feel included? What sort of people come to your classes?
A whole mix. I go to classes, I teach classes, and it's so... From social media, we get so much more social media these days, and seeing the actual people in the classes and actually talking about it and telling people, that there's such a range of people from their 20s to their 80s in some of the classes that I go to, all range of sizes, all range of abilities.
So what, do we do it online? I'm getting involved in this.
Yeah, there's courses online, there's classes online, there's so much you can do. If you want to start from home, if you're starting it or you're getting back into it, there's so much you can do online. And then come into an actual class, you can't beat that community feeling of a ballet class.
My wife started doing ballet bar, you know, ballet.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's more focused on, like, sculpting and
Does she
stuff.
do it at
Really
home?
likes it.
Or does she do that?
It's hard. It's hard.
Go to class.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Very hard, yeah.
What would you say, the kids watching this and they just want to get into ballet, irrespective of this?
And they might be a little bit bigger.
I'd say be stubborn like me and go. Start at home if you want to, but go to the classes, because I think there is this preconceived notion of what a ballet class is like, because we know what old teachers used, how they used to be like with their canes and slapping bums and stuff. And I think that has massively changed in most recreational ballet classes, definitely. And there is a different vibe. It is way more inclusive and friendly. And there's people just like you in the class who would just want to be there for a good time. It's so good for you mentally, physically. Ballet is such a good form of exercise, but it's the artistry and the joy of moving to music and also being with other people who enjoy that too. Yeah. So go to the classes, because you might be surprised, actually, the people there and how the teachers are.
Thank you so much. And you're so great on social media. Have you seen her on social media? You're such a lovely dancer. Thank you so much.
I just want to put that message out there, because more people should be able to enjoy ballet if they want to.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Now, we're remembering one of our beloved This Morning family members today, 19-year-old Matthew Locke. Matthew first appeared on the show back in 2020 and charmed the pants off us with his enthusiasm and love for gadgets. We often had him review everything from vacuum cleaners to phone cases.
Yeah, however, just over a year ago, Matthew tragically took his own life. And his parents, Richard and Christine, have since been campaigning to raise awareness about ADHD and the increased suicide risks that come with that. Welcome, Christine and Richard. Thank you so much for joining us. We absolutely adored your boy. We loved him, didn't we?
He just had this passion and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And he had funny bones, he was kind, he was caring.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't get to meet him an awful lot, like we only met him a few times, but he was a breath of fresh air when he came into the studio.
A real character.
Yeah, and he loved coming in.
Did he?
With his passion.
Yeah.
And he loved his vacuum
He loved his vacuum cleaners, didn't he? He loved them vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
He was so passionate.
Oh, yeah.
Where did this all start? Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, it was sort of from an early age. He actually started to sort of pick up and just love the things. And then he actually started to repair them. And that sort of grew. And he had an incredible ability just to find what the problem was and fix it. A young engineer in the making.
Yeah.
And it grew and grew. And he ended up with his collection of over 100 vacuums. And his social media then grew and the story sort of got out there.
And his passion was unbounding as well. He was so politically engaged, wasn't he? He was a councillor, and I know that you know, he met many politicians. So,
that's right.
You know, he just had the rest of his life ahead of him.
So, he was so loving as well. Like, he used to pick up litter, didn't he? He'd go out and he'd pick up litter.
He would help anyone. He would talk to everybody in the community, young, old. He was caring, sensitive. But that can sometimes be an ADHD trait, that you can be overly sensitive.
Yeah.
Basically, emotional dysregulation can come into it.
He was diagnosed with autism at 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, the signs of ADHD were missed. But I suppose from your point of view, when you have that diagnosis, you go, well, in many ways, great, because that's what we get. That's what we have to work
That's
with,
exactly what we thought. Yeah. We thought, OK, so that's why Matthew hyper-focuses on maybe one
thing.
thing.
He's functioning, he's great, he's got a great world, great life.
He'd gone through school and was doing all right, he was getting through, and he'd gone to, or he was going to university. I remember Chris coming into the bedroom one night and go, how's Matthew going to cope? I think he's got ADHD, there's more behind this. And we then pursued a diagnosis, and he did eventually get diagnosed at 19, but it had been missed from the age of 14 right the way through to 18, 19.
On reflection now, looking back, can you see that all the traits of ADHD? What are those traits that you noticed? And when you look back now, you can go, it was like so obvious.
Lack of focus,
inattention to things he wasn't interested in. Disorganisation, everything last minute, yeah. If he wanted to do something, yeah, I'll do it now.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't say, well, I'll tell you what, should we do that tomorrow? Should we plan? No, I'll do it now. I've got to do it now. And then different focuses. He'd have a hobby and then love that for a while. And then that was it. I'm finished with that. I like doing this now. But he was very sociable. So the autism side, I thought, well, perhaps perhaps this is ADHD as well, but we didn't realise that the two can coexist. We didn't realise that.
Yeah.
And I imagine that
typically about 80% of people with autism have ADHD as well. It's a co-occurring thing. From the diagnosis that Matthew got, surely they should have looked into that as well.
And what you're saying, I'm sure, resonates with so many viewers at home, whether it's their families or themselves. I listen, you know, you're listing off those character traits, and I was like, I'm a bit like that.
Well,
so you don't think about it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's when it impacts you. It's when it's persistent and it's showing up in school. You may be having problems. The teacher may be saying, we're having a problem with this young boy, young girl. They're not concentrating.
Right.
And of course, it does present differently with girls. Girls mask, as we all know. But if this isn't identified early enough, then these layers of self-esteem get battered and the child won't understand, well, why do I feel like this? Why can't I learn like X, Y and Z, my peers?
Yeah.
So ADHD is a brilliant thing. It's a superpower.
And the craziest thing, like, adults are 3 times more likely to use drugs. They'll have a drug issue,
or
disorder,
alcohol.
well, alcohol, something like that. And our Matthew did struggle with that, didn't he?
Within
From the age
ADHD,
of about 17.
about 50% of people find some form of addiction, whether that be gambling, whether that be drugs, whether that be alcohol, social media. All of those things play into that. And there's a lot of people we've come across, you know, are struggling in that area, but actually just don't know that it's linked to ADHD. There's some work being done by Dr. Peter Mason, who's done a research into treating people for ADHD who have got opiates and other drug misuse. Pretty much all of those people that he treated for ADHD came off the drugs.
Or lessened it.
So it's incredibly powerful. And if people can get that understanding and treatment early, then it's not going to affect their lives long term.
As you were just saying there, guys, you know, it can come in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the last thing you want to do today is scare anyone at home.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, you've been working with parts of the NHS ADHD task force. Can you tell us what that involves?
Yeah, we, on the back of working with ADHD UK, we did a conference, a global conference, explaining Matthew's story. And there are risks associated with ADHD, but equally there's a powerful story behind it if it's managed properly. So we were then asked to join the task force, which is a collection of leading experts, doctors, and also experts by experience, which we're classed as. And we're hopefully coming up with some recommendations
from
to
our
take
point
this
of
forward.
view, our experience.
What would be those, do you think? Just, I mean, obviously you're not there yet, but like, just top of your head,
I
do you think
we need
really need to
earlier.
change?
We need earlier diagnosis. We need earlier screening when a child, as young as possible, because if they're going into secondary years and they've struggled in primary, they're only going to struggle more in secondary years, and that's when you've got to be organised. Peer pressure increases, and these kids want to fit in if they're really impacted by it. So you can be a risk taker with ADHD too, due to the impulsivity symptom. And kids will want to be accepted. So there's higher risk-taking behaviours that they'll take just to fit in. So that could be, OK, I'll try that drug. OK, I'll be the one who jumps off that third step where nobody else will. So interestingly, if it really is impacting, and as we're saying, we don't want to scare anybody, of course, that made Matthew who he was. And I can tell you this, there's no way that he wanted to do what he did However, the impulsivity and the lack of being able, with executive function, to stop, think of the consequence, he's followed that through.
Yeah.
And that is what we can try and pull back. If somebody knows they do have an impulsive nature, and whether that's associated with ADHD, there are strategies to use resources to be able to stop, think, reflect, and wait.
Well, listen, anything we can do to help in the future, please just come back, talk about it.
Thank you.
Whatever you need, we're here. He was a cherished member of our family, and by extension, you are. And the way you've spoken today...
He would be so proud of what you're doing as well. And you've changed the website for the NHS.
Yeah, we've got
done
that
so
change.
much.
And, you know, all we can do is hope we can make a difference in Matthew's name and change the outcome.
He would want to be here. There's no way.
He'd love this.
There's too many stories where children have taken their own life and they've been struggling with ADHD and struggling to get an assessment or referral. So we just need to educate ourselves. Thank you.
Richard, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, listen, if you have been affected by any of the issues discussed, help and guidance is available on our This Morning website.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning. And Anne Chambers, a.k.a. Crazy Auntie Anne, joins us now. You are a tonic.
You are crazy.
That is great.
It's so lovely to meet you.
So nice to meet you, Anne. Where did this come from? So you're a teacher.
I am.
And what did you were telling your students your message, weren't you?
My niece started my account when I was like before lockdown.
Yeah.
Hence the Crazy Auntie, because I am that crazy auntie.
You're the one.
Leaves chocolate under the pillows.
Yeah, nice.
So Kelsey, my niece, she made my account, and then when we went into lockdown, because I teach mental health for a living, or I taught, I've just retired actually. Mental health for a living. When we went into lockdown, I wanted to cheer my students up because they were all 16-year-old and stuck in the home, stuck in the bedroom.
What an age to be stuck as well.
Also, they needed to meet the learning outcomes as well. So I thought, let's be a bit more creative. So I started making silly videos to cheer them all up, and also encouraging them to make videos to talk about mental health and that sort of thing. And then I was talking to them one day when we were having a class, and I said, you know, you guys can be anything you want to be in life. If you want to be an astronaut, you can be an astronaut. You've got to study really hard, push yourself as far as you can, knock on that door that you're not supposed to go in and go, I want to come in here, how do I get in? But you can do anything. I said, for example, set me a challenge. So they said, get 10,000 followers on TikTok. So I said, yeah, all right.
I'll try.
Okay.
So how quick did you get the 10,000, and how is it quite difficult to get the traction?
Well, I posted regularly, and then look, I think it was just one of those things. I read a poem. There's two videos that I did. One, I read a poem, and I was in my dressing gown.
Normal.
Yeah. And everybody was like, I love your dressing gown. And my dressing gown became famous before me, I think, actually. And so this dressing gown became famous, and it took off and it got a lot of views, and I went up to 70,000 followers with this one video. And then,
unbelievable.
And then I also shared one where, the bottom half is a gentleman playing a guitar.
I remember that, and then you're on the top.
And I'm the top half, and that it's made 30 million views. It's just absolutely.
And that's someone in particular seeing it, and because I'm not on TikTok, so I'm not like.
But it's literally a little bit like Instagram, and I think it just gets trending, and people start watching it, and then people see it, famous people see it, and famous people have even been in contact, haven't they? Who's been in touch? We've had Ed Sheeran,
Ed Sheeran commented.
What did he say?
He said Slay Queen.
Brilliant.
Slay Queen. Oh, look at that.
Look at you with a little 4-heart emoji going back at him.
Yeah, obviously, you know.
Thank
you.
I should have put tickets, please.
Yeah, exactly.
You could direct message him now if he's following.
I could, yeah.
And who else?
And then Slash shared, actually, the video that I did with the guitar, Slash shared it on his Instagram.
Do you think he thought that was really you playing it?
To this day, I don't know. He either thinks I'm a really good guitar player or I'm really funny, and I'm not sure which one of those is. I don't suppose I'll ever know, really.
I haven't seen that guitar one before.
It's good, isn't it? It's so good.
Read the comment.
So they cut off the bottom bit. That's somebody else playing.
I'm only the top half.
So who did that? Did you do that?
Yeah. I did that, yeah. And I'm just the top half, so I do the guitar faces.
So she's just doing the faces.
I'm just doing all
someone else's hands,
That's
and then they put it together.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so good,
and in the comments, like, it was really funny because in the comments people going, "You're a really good guitar player." And I'm like,
it's because you was both in black. Yeah. I think because you was both in black, it looked so good when you pieced it together.
But when and then other people are going, "She's not really playing." And then so I could just sit back and watch all the comments, all just like.
So your students said 10,000.
Yep.
What are you up to now?
2.1 million.
What a message to give to them.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and when I got back out of when we came back out of lockdown, they were all so proud of me, you know. And one of the funny stories as well after that was, I was only a couple of weeks after lockdown, and one of my students said, I can't go to maths today. And I said, if I can get 70,000 followers on TikTok, you can go to maths.
You can get to maths.
And what's incredible about this whole thing? This is life-changing because you've retired early.
I have,
And you're earning money from doing TikTok.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you earn the money?
A lot of song promos. We do a lot of songs, so new bands going through, because TikTok's wonderful for that. It's wonderful for music.
So what, do you get paid to use a particular music?
Yeah.
This is a new world.
New brand deals coming through. There's so much coming through in terms of, like, even Marshall Jeffries, who was like the Chicago house scene.
Yeah.
He wanted to do a Zoom call with me, so I went on Zoom. And I thought, oh, that's so nice. He must want to talk to one of his fans. And when I got on the call with him, with my management agency, he was like, oh, my wife's a big fan of yours. Can I have a photograph?
What?
I'm like, oh.
And where does the love of music come from? Because did you love that Chicago house scene? Is that what you got sort of back into back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, I love all house music, I love all music. I love music.
Yeah, you're into your music.
Yeah, and actually, you know, so, I mean, I married quite young, and then I got divorced when I was sort of 38, and then that's when the house thing came along. That's when I went out partying. And actually, one of the strange things is a lot of comments that I got on my social media are, can we see some photographs or videos of you in your club days? And they don't exist because we didn't have mobile phones.
No.
Oh, yeah, you had
Thank
real
God.
photos.
Yeah, we didn't.
Did you think?
Yeah.
I checked you out yesterday, and in many ways, the unheralded, the support act here is your husband.
Yes.
I saw him popping
Uncle
in.
Eric. Uncle Eric,
I saw it. Because he looks like he's quite... There we go. Always looks like he's going to put upon.
It's like me and you.
Yeah, exactly. Does he secretly love it?
He does. Yeah, he does.
I saw him doing the air tonight with Phil Collins yesterday with the pots and pans. It was brilliant.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so glad this has changed your life. You're bringing so much joy to so many people. What would you say to someone who's at home thinking, oh, I could never do that, I could never have the confidence to go on TikTok? What would you say to them?
Be yourself. I think if I was to put down one of the things that I think has been successful for me is because I'm just me, just as I am.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I like you.
Oh, you're just your
authentic self. And I think but you guys are though, aren't you? It comes across when you're yourself, and I think because I'm just me, just as I am. And also, you just got to not care what people think, haven't you? You've got to not care.
We love you, Anne.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Keep earning your money and just enjoy your life, Fab.
And inspiring, Anne.
Who'd have thought a 63-year-old could give up work to be a
That's why you're inspiration.
You are a star. You're a star. You're on this morning, Bab. You're a star now. Thank you so much for joining us, Anne. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. But before all that, new data has revealed that water pollution in England is at an all-time 10-year high, causing hundreds of wild swimmers to fall ill from serious infections.
It's a big issue. One woman who's deeply passionate about clean water is our next guest, 28-year-old Megan, who took a love for the environment to a whole new level. She is committed by marrying the River Avon.
How beautiful were those pictures?
Lovely, weren't they?
You in the water, yes. You heard that right. Her one-of-a-kind wedding was complete with a wedding dress, guests and vows. And Megan joins us now to tell us all about it. Hello, Megan.
Wish we could have come to this.
No, I wish I could have invited you. That would have
Wish
been
we
lovely.
knew you then. It was wonderful. Looks so nice.
So, firstly, you've got your husband with you right here.
Here's my darling.
There's Avon.
There he is.
Yeah, a little bit of a River Avon. Tell us about this wedding, because it sounds absolutely beautiful.
It was a really magical day. People say it's the best day of their lives, and it definitely was for me.
Yeah. Was it the vows that you took? What was it that made everyone so emotional?
Well, I'm a writer, so I put a lot of thought into what I wanted to say. And there was a film crew that were there. The shots that you just saw were from a documentary film, Rave On for the Avon, of which my wedding is the finale. So we knew that this story was going to keep being told beyond that day. But also, I had an incredible celebrant, a really old family friend of mine that has known my parents for a very long time. And she does funerals, mostly. And this was her first wedding. And she told me afterwards that she has never cried at any ceremony she's done before or since. Aww. But she cried on my wedding day.
That's so nice.
And it got all of us, you know, looking out into that audience, everyone was weeping.
Yeah.
I'd never been to a wedding before, and there I was in a dress.
You've never been to a wedding before?
I'd never been to a wedding.
How did you enjoy your own wedding?
It was great.
You
I
should
loved
do
it.
more weddings.
Well, I went to a couple last year, and I love weddings.
Was it hard to organise? Were you bridezilla at all? I mean, how did the day go?
I don't think I was bridezilla. I hope I wasn't. Luckily, I had a lot of support. I've got a lot of very creative friends, you know.
The outfit's amazing.
The outfit, my mum helped me buy this dress from a charity shop. My friends from school, because, you know, I married the Avon, which is the Bristol River, so we wanted to do it in a kind of quirky Bristolian way.
Great.
Have you taken your husband's name yet? Have you illegally taken the name?
I haven't done it legally because the paperwork seemed a bit long. But it's kind of my stage name because since the wedding I've been performing my poems a lot more and getting dressed up for morning telly. So it's nice to have two names.
Sorry to interrupt. How are you with him playing away?
Well, it's an open relationship.
It's an open relationship.
It's a very open relationship.
So when you see people swimming in there, you're like, hang on a sec.
I love going to the
Get your dirty boats out of my man.
Luckily, I know I'm green right now, but I don't often get jealous. I love going to the river and seeing lots of people enjoying being near the river. And I've been on tour recently, and I've been swimming in a lot of other rivers.
Megan,
And I don't think that they're jealous either.
You've got a lovely vibe about you. You've got such lovely energy. And this came from a really serious place in all, didn't it? Because, I mean, how long have you been wild swimming? And did you grow up around the river?
So I grew up in Bristol, and I always thought the Avon was too dangerous to swim in, inaccessible, muddy, polluted.
Bad boy, you said.
A bad boy.
It's a bad boy. She's married a bad boy.
My parents said, stay away from that river.
Yeah.
Dirty bad boy.
Yeah.
And then I started swimming. Luckily, I've got family that live in Wales and Scotland, so we would swim. I didn't know it was called wild swimming back then.
Just swimming, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Just swimming.
Same.
So I can't really remember when I first started swimming, I've just always been drawn to water. And I think we are all drawn to water in a way, because we're mostly water, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We're over 50% water, and so's the world.
What's lovely is so many people cared. I mean, you got this wedding crowdfunded. I think you raised about £500 of it, spent £1,000 on it. So many people do care about our waterways. I mean, if we look at some of the statistics in 2024, 331 people had to see a doctor, and 79% were reported that the medical professionals had attributed that illness to sewage pollution. It's so sad, isn't it?
It's really sad, and it's not just an issue here, you know. I mean, we've got a fully privatised water system in the UK, one of the most expensive ones as well, and the water's still shoddy. And 50% of the world's population, 50% of hospital beds in the world right now are taken up by somebody suffering from an illness related to water contamination.
That is an incredible statistic.
It causes more deaths every year than all violence, including wars, you know? Water is an essential part of life. And I think just as it's a human right to have access to clean drinking water, I think it's a human right to have access to water that you can also swim in and be in, and for it to improve your mental and physical well-being.
And it's unbelievable, isn't it, the difference it makes?
Yeah, you said you have a relationship with the sea?
Yeah. I'm more of a salt guy, so, but, you know, I respect the rivers, respect the fresh
Would you
water.
ever consider, you know, a little relationship?
I'm married already, but I'm definitely cheating on my wife with Hampstead Ponds.
All the time.
To be fair...
Is that not going to sound... She's cool with it, though.
She does as well, yeah, so... But there is
go.
something about being in water. Doesn't matter if it's the winter or the summer. It's just something to sort... You come out and you're like, I'm ready for the day.
Yeah, it's transformative. Because you're entering a different element, aren't you?
What is the message that you want to get across to people out there who are watching today?
So I want to say that there's a lot to be scared about in the world right now, particularly with water pollution. And this campaign, there's a lot to be angry about because, you know, our bills are just going up and up. They have given allowance for water companies to raise the bills by 30% every year. So there's a lot to be angry and scared about. But what we wanted to do with the wedding was to focus on love and joy and union and the strength that bringing people together through those joyful moments. Like, we don't have many ceremonies left in our human Western world right now, but we still have weddings. Yeah. Everyone loves a wedding. Yeah. So that's what we wanted to do. We want to give out a message of hope. And there's an empowerment. I think coming out of the water, you feel stronger. I didn't think I'd be sat on morning telly in a wedding dress, but the swimming in the river has given me the power to have a voice.
Megan, if people are watching this and they're like, well, I'm not really a swimmer, it's not even about swimming, it's about being, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just about being in nature, being in, whether it's mountains or beaches or rivers. It is that notion of just, like, stillness and a reset. I think everyone...
And you just want it to be clean.
Yeah.
I mean, just want clean waters.
What are you going to do for your next anniversary? Because talk about bad boy, last year you broke your leg.
I did, yeah. So
Naughty River Avon.
Well, I'm trying to work out what the message is there, but I've done 2 pilgrimages now, one to the source of the river and one to the mouth. I went to Avon Mouth for my
Where's the source?
The source is near Malmesbury kind of area. So you walk through a lot of private land because 97% of riverbanks are on private land. So we only have access to 3% of our rivers in England and Wales, which is wild. Yeah, luckily, with the Thames, you can walk all the way up and down it. There's footpaths, but there's not for the Avon. I was trying to go to the river for a swim, and I slipped and I broke my leg. So access is really important. There's Right to Rome is an amazing campaign group, and they've got an event coming up on Sunday, the 27th of this month. And because how are you supposed to build a relationship with something that you don't know? And how do you love something you don't know? And then how do you protect it? So, yeah, we need to work on ways to get to the water and build on this relationship and build this love.
Can I just say, the River Avon is very, very lucky. I think that River Avon's punching.
Oh, it is.
Gorgeous. You know what I mean?
But have you met my darling?
Yeah, but Pete knows she's right.
I think we're quite well met.
She's right. Thanks, Megan.
Yeah, I don't think I'm the first person to have fallen in love with the river, and I don't think I'll be the last, but I really hope that the rivers will still be alive and well in the future.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Megan. You can see the documentary Rave on the River Avon, independent cinemas across the country. You've been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.